Yes, Jadwa and Mufaz, have you guys completed your assignment?
Sir.
Okay. So I haven't received your assignment. Okay. So you are supposed to submit the assignment. All right. And
Yes, sir.
Mufaz, what about you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you are also supposed to submit the assignment. Okay. So in our previous class, we were talking about teeth, right? So what are the four different types of teeth found in our buccal cavity?
Incisor, canine, premolar, molar.
Yeah. So these are the different types of teeth found in our buccal cavity. Okay. So let's have a look at the position. See this figure here. Okay. So on the front row, you can see these four teeth are incisor. So four teeth are found on each pair of the jaw. And next after incisor, you have got canine, right? And canine are present in two. So in each of the jaw, you will find that there are two canines, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And next after you have got premolars. So premolars, you see their number are four in each jaw. So in each of the jaw there are four premolars, right? And at the last we have got molars, and their number is 6 in each jaw. So that is total equals to 32 teeth are there in our human buccal cavity. All right. Now next thing is that you see, if you were to talk about teeth, you must have heard about the milk teeth. Yeah, teeth are also of two different types. One is the milk teeth and one is the permanent teeth. So what are these teeth? Let's study about them. So teeth, they are also of two types. One is the milk teeth. What do we mean by milk teeth? Does guys any idea?
So the teeth that falls out.
What was? Okay, look,
The
see.
teeth that falls out.
Okay. So look, in humans, teeth grows in two sets. So when a baby is still in his infancy, when a human is in the years of 6 to 8 years, that is the age of infancy. So we say that during the age of infancy, the teeth that grow are called milk teeth. So when they reach the age of 6 to 8, they start to fall off and new teeth arise. And that is going to remain permanently in the jaw. So the next pair of teeth that grows when the milk teeth falls, that is called permanent teeth. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. So in humans, teeth grows in two stages. One is the milk teeth, another one that you guys are now having, that is the permanent teeth. Okay, or you guys still have milk teeth?
Yes, sir. Permanent teeth.
Yeah, permanent teeth. Yeah. Okay, you all milk teeth have fallen down. So during the infancy, that is babyhood, the teeth that grows in human are called milk teeth. Okay. And once they reach the age of 6 to 8 years, these teeth start to fall off. Okay. When they reach the age of 6 to 8 years, the teeth starts. Have you guys been taking notes of the class?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. And new teeth arises. That are called what?
Permanent teeth.
Permanent teeth. That are called permanent teeth. Okay. Now you see, in regard to teeth, there are certain things that needs to be taken care of, like regular brushing of teeth is required. Okay. Regular brushing of teeth is required. Why? Because you see, after we consume the foods, so whatever remaining food is stuck in our teeth, it has got glucose in it, it has got sugar in it. So the bacteria that will convert those sugars into acids, so that will lead to tooth decay. So we need to take certain precautions. We need to clean our teeth regularly, right? So here is the milk teeth which we talk about and the permanent teeth which you know about. Okay. Now next thing is tooth decay. Okay. So in tooth decay, what happens? If the look what happens if the infection reaches the inner pulp of the tooth. Like if you see the diagram of a tooth here, see this diagram of a tooth. See, there are four parts of a tooth. What are they? Yeah, can you see here?
Incisor, canine, premolar, molar.
No. Those are the those are types of teeth. Here I'm talking about the parts of a teeth. You see, the outermost layer is the enamel, then you have got dentine, then you have got pulp cavity, and then that is the gum, right? Okay.
Yes.
So we were talking about tooth decay. So we say that the food which we eat, the food which we eat contains sugar in it. Sugar in it. And if we don't properly brush our teeth, these food particles are going to stick between the teeth. So if we don't brush properly, food particles get stuck in between teeth. Stuck in between the teeth. So what the bacteria is present in our mouth does, those bacteria will convert those sugar into acids. So the bacteria present in our mouth will convert the sugar into acids, and acids will start to decay the outermost layer of the teeth. If you see the teeth, it looks something like this. This is the outermost layer. Okay, and this is the second layer. Okay, so outermost layer of a teeth is called enamel, right? So bacteria will start to feed on the leftover food particles. If say this is the food particle stuck on the tooth, so bacteria will start to feed on them, and these bacteria will convert the sugar present in the food into acids, right guys? So this is it. What will it will do? It will harm the outermost layer of the teeth, that is enamel. It will start corroding the enamel. Okay. So we say that the bacterias convert the, yeah, you're saying something?
No, sir.
Okay, into acid that decays the teeth. Okay, so that's why you will feel sensation in teeth. Okay, and you have to go to dentist then. So you see, if you were to see the parts of the teeth here in the second figure, you see these are the different parts of the teeth: enamel, dentine, pulp cavity. So let's study about the different parts of the teeth. So far, any confusion?
No, sir.
Yes. Yeah. And Yadva, you have any confusion? So
No, sir.
parts of the teeth. First is enamel. So enamel, it is the outermost layer of the teeth. It is the outermost layer of teeth. And if I ask you guys one question, which is the hardest substance in our body? Which is the hardest substance in our body?
Sir, teeth.
Teeth. Which is specific part of teeth?
So the
In
enam
enamel, very good. So not bone, it's the teeth in our body, in our buccal cavity, that is the hardest substance in our body. Okay. So enamel, it is the outermost layer of the teeth. It is also the hardest substance present in our body. Right. It is also the hardest substance in our body. So you guys need to remember these two things about enamel. Now after enamel, we have got another part of the tooth, that is dentine. Dentine, not dentine is just below the enamel. Dentine is lying. Okay. So dentine is the bony part of the teeth. It is what? It is the bony part of the teeth. Okay. It resembles a bone. So it is the bony part of the teeth. That's it about dentine. Now, what is the next part of the teeth after dentine? Yes,
pulp cavity.
that is the pulp cavity. That is the pulp cavity. Now, in the pulp cavity, you see it consists of nerves and blood vessels. Like people, they generally have got complaints of sensation in teeth. Like if they eat ice cream, if they eat something warm, then they feel a sudden sensation in their teeth. Why? It is because they have got problems in the nerves and their vessels and their blood vessels. So pulp cavity is the innermost layer of the teeth, which consists of nerves and blood vessels. It is the innermost part of teeth. It consists of what?
It
Nerves
contains nerves and blood vessels.
and blood vessels. Okay. So suppose if someone is suffering from a tooth decay. Okay. So if the infection, this is enamel, this is your dentine, and this is your pulp cavity, right? So suppose if the infection reaches this pulp cavity, the infection, this reaches all the way up to the pulp cavity, then what needs to be done? The infection is so much that root people have to go for root canal treatment, or the whole teeth has to be uprooted from its jaw, right guys? So that's why people need to eat less sugary foods, or that's why it is doctors recommend you not to eat too many chocolates, not to eat too many candies, right? Because the bacteria will convert that sugary substance present in it into acids, and that acid will slowly eat away the different layers. First it will eat the enamel, then it will eat the dentine, and finally the infection will reach to your pulp cavity, and that is a very painful thing. So your teeth will eventually be removed, right? So that is in brief about the teeth and its different parts. Any confusion in this?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, if you will have to if you were to have a look at the teeth of other animals, like if you see teeth of a cow, it is a little bit different from the teeth of human. Why? Because they have to continuously graze the grasses. They have to grind the grasses. Okay. They don't have to tear down the foods. They don't have got canines. So their teeth are very flat, right? So if you were to talk about a cow or a sheep, they have got function of grinding their food. That's why their teeth are flat, right? And canines are absent on their jaws. So let's study this thing also. Teeth of a cow and a deer. Okay. So one thing is their teeth are flat or flat. They do not have canine. Why they won't be having canine? Why they don't have canine?
So because they are herbivores.
They are herbivorous, right? Okay. And What are some examples? Like you have buffalo, sheep, giraffe, camel, deer, and a goat. So most of these animals, they also don't have incisors, that is the front teeth. Yeah. And they also don't have canines, right? So they don't have canines and incisors. Incisors, which are what? These are the front teeth. See this one. Yeah, the front four teeth. So they lack incisors also. Instead of incisors, you see, if you were to see the mouth of a cow, yeah, or if you were to see the buccal cavity of some other herbivores, in many of them, the teeth are located on sideways. Most of the flat teeth are located on the sideways of the jaw, right? Okay, so they don't have got canines and incisors. All right, because they have to eat grasses and leaves which are basically difficult to digest, so they have to basically grind it in their mouth only. Okay, so that's about the teeth. Now next digestive thing in our mouth, next part of our buccal cavity that helps in the digestion is the tongue. Can you guys tell me what is the role of tongue?
Well, it helps us taste.
Yeah,
It helps us taste.
it helps to,
Taste.
yeah, look, the tongue, look over here, this tongue present in the buccal cavity, it has got few functions. Like it is a muscular tissue that helps in the proper mixing of saliva with the food. It helps in the movement of food in our mouth. So it is a muscular tissue that helps in mixing saliva with food, right guys? And it
It's good.
also helps in movement of food in the buccal cavity, in the buccal cavity, right? So two functions are being performed by the tongue. Okay, first one is it is helping in mixing saliva with the food. Another, it simply helps in movement of the food in the buccal cavity. All right. Now, if you were to see the diagram of a tongue here, you see there are different taste buds in the tongue present. Okay, so you see the different types of foods we consume, whether it is salty, whether it is sweet or sour in nature. So in our tooth, in our tongue, there are certain regions which are more sensitive to sugary taste, which are more sensitive to bitter taste, right? So have a look at the diagram of this tongue here. You see the front part of the tongue is more sensitive to salty and sweety foods. So if you put a sugar on the front part of your tongue, you will experience it very easily. You will taste it very easily. But if you put a piece of sugar on the middle part of the tongue, it will be not that much sweeter as compared to if you were to put it on the front part. Right, guys? Similarly,
Sir.
the sideways of the tongue are more sensitive to sour foods, right? The foods which are sour, like oranges, lemons. So those foods, they are more sensitive to the sideways of the tongue. And on the back, you see foods which are bitter, right? So if you have bitter, like what do you say, karela, you know karela, bitter gourd.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you were to taste bitter gourd and put it on the back of your tongue, so there it will be more sensitive. It will be more sensitive at the back of the tongue. So in our mouth, you see, taste buds. We have got taste buds in our mouth. So in the tongue, there are certain areas which are more sensitive, to tasting certain tastes, certain taste, like salty, sweet, sour, and bitter. Right, guys? So that is about the taste buds present in the tongue here. All right. So now you see, we have basically talked about the tongue and teeth here, which basically helps in the mastication of food. Remember this term, mastication? Mastation. We have discussed this term in previous classes. Yes, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is that? What is that? What does mastication mean? Yeah, can you recall? Look, mastication, it is basically the mixing of the food along with saliva and partial digestion of starch in the food. That is called mastication. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You guys need to remember what is being discussed in the class. Okay. Okay,
Yes,
now,
sir.
if you guys remember, tell me, what is the role of large intestine in completing the digestion of food? What is the role of large intestine in completing the digestion of food?
Observation of water takes place. Due to observation of water by villi in the walls of large intestine, food becomes semi-solid type.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that is correct, Mafaz. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And which organ in our digestive system is called churner and mixer? Churner and mixer. Which is that part of the alimentary canal which is called churner and mixer? You remember in your mind, does a picture of a bean shape of a J-shaped structure comes?
Stomach.
Stomach. Very good. That is called a churner and a mixer. Okay, and it makes food into paste-like form, right? Okay. Any idea what do we call that paste-like form? The food, when it comes to our stomach, it is churned and mixed by the walls of the stomach, and it basically becomes into a white paste. In the stomach, you see the food becomes a white paste. Okay, not the Colgate paste. All right, white paste. What do we call that? Okay, I'm giving you a hint. The first letter is C. Yes, Mafaz and Jadwa. Can you guys recall? Or shall I tell the answer? We call that as what? I'm giving you one more hint. The another letter is H. Yeah? We call that as chime. Remember now?
Yes,
Look,
sir.
we discussed this in the previous class. Where's your stomach? Yeah, before just, yeah. Here, read what does it says?
Our stomach acts like a mixer and it turns our food into a milky paste called chyme in 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, in chime to 2 to 3 hours, right? Okay, and what is the finger-like projection present on the walls of small and large intestine?
Villi.
Villi. Very good. Are they present in 100 or 200 or in millions?
Millions.
Millions. Very good. Okay. Now, next thing we are going to talk about nutrition and the digestive system in grass-eating animals. Okay. Now, name some of the grass-eating animals. What are they?
The buffalo, cow, Indians.
And do tell me about what is special about them. Like they can digest a certain thing which we humans cannot digest. What is it
We
that?
can digest grasses.
Okay, it can digest grasses, but what is it present in the grasses that they can digest, but our bodies cannot digest?
So cellulose.
Cellulose. Very good. Very good. Nutrition and digestion in grass eating animals, which are also called as ruminants, which are also called as ruminants.
Ruminants.
Right. So ruminants are basically cattles and cows, cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, camels that chews what? That chews grasses, and their body is basically supported on four legs, and each leg bears paired hoof. Paired hoof. By this I mean this: if you were to see the hoof of a herbivorous animal or a ruminant, it will look like this. Have you seen the legs of a cow or legs of a goat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. Uh, this is what it looks like. Excuse my drawing, it might not be very good, but this is how the hoof of a ruminant animal looks like. Two pairs of legs. It looks like there's a two pair of legs here. So this is a paired hoof. So ruminants, they are four-legged animals and they have got a paired hoof. Okay, so there are some other animals also which are four-legged, but they don't have a paired hoof. Okay, so examples of the ruminants are buffaloes, cows, goat, camels, etc. And these are the grass eating animals, you see, and we previously talked about them, that they do not have what in their teeth. If you were to have a look at their structure, what part of what types of teeth they lack? Yeah, so they lack what? Canines
Incisors. Incisor.
and incisors. Very good. Canines and incisors are not found on the tooth. Why is it so?
Because they are herbivores.
Because they are herbivores, they don't have to eat the fleshes. Okay, now if you are to draw the diagram of a teeth of a cow, some it looks something like this. Okay, this is the jaw. Okay, this is its eye socket, and here are its teeth. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So that is teeth of a cow. Okay. All right. Now, ruminants can digest cellulose. Ruminants can digest cellulose, cellulose because of the presence of certain bacteria, certain special bacteria in their bodies. So ruminants can digest cellulose because of the presence of certain bacteria in their stomach. Okay, because of the presence of certain bacteria in their body. Okay, are all ruminants? Do all ruminants provides us with milk? Milk? Do all ruminants provide us with milk?
No, sir.
No, like we have got deers. Deers are also ruminants, but they do not provide us milk. Now, another characteristic of the ruminants, you will observe that they normally have got four stomachs, or we say that stomachs which are four chambered. What did I say it? Ruminants,
Ruminants. Food chamber.
yeah, normally have four stomachs, or stomachs that are four chambered. That is, there are four chambers in their stomach. Stomach strata, four chambered. Okay, so that is about the their stomach. Okay, so you see, what is the most common example of a ruminant which you will see around ourselves?
Cow,
Cows. Very good.
goat,
Yeah.
horses.
Okay. Very good. So in those ruminants, you will observe that while grazing, once the cow or a goat has taken a mouthful of food, it will hold the grass in its mouth and start chewing it till the grass is broken into several pieces and mixes with the saliva. Now what it does, it swallows the broken grasses which passes down the stomach. Their stomach is the first part of their stomach is called rumen. Okay. And
Okay.
I forgot to take the diagram of the chambers of the cow's stomach here. Okay, so in next class I will show you the diagram where you will get a better representation and how it looks.
Okay, sir.
So first, they what they start to do, they break down the pieces of grasses. It goes down their stomach. So the first stomach, since you know that it is four chambered, so the first chamber of the stomach is called rumen. That is the largest chamber present in their stomach system. Okay, so from this rumen, which is the largest chamber of the stomach, the cow keeps eating till the rumen is full. Till this first chamber is full, the cow will keep on eating. Now, what will happen? Food from this rumen gradually passes into the second stomach, second chamber of the stomach. That is called reticulum. Okay, let's say this is the first chamber. Okay, now it is completely full. So from this first chamber, the stomach will now start passing to the second chamber. This is first chamber. This is second chapter. What do we call this one? This is called reticulum. First one is rumen. Okay. Now in the reticulum, what is happen? What is happening with the food? The food becomes very softened. It becomes very soft. Okay. And the food converts into a form that is called curd. What is this curd? Soft food. Right, guys. So that is the soft food. Now here's the interesting thing. Uh, what what the cow does. Look, the cow is going to rest. Now, while resting, what the cow does, this curd is brought back into the mouth. This curd, which is a semi-digested food, it is not completely digested. So this curd will come back to the mouth of the cow. You see, isn't it
Sir.
strange that the cow has already eaten the food? It has gone to the first chamber, that is rumen. From there, it went to the reticulum. Now, while the cow is resting, the interesting thing that here happens, this cow brings back this curd to its mouth to further chew it, right?
Yes, sir.
So there, what we say, that's a practice that is called ruminate. So we say that from rumen, in bracket I will that is the largest chamber. It makes sense that why it is the largest chamber, so that it gets to eat maximum food. So largest chamber. So from rumen, food passes to reticulum. Reticulum, and here it is partially digested, digested, and softened. And softened. You guys can understand my writing.
Sir.
So from rumen, the food passes to reticulum where it becomes into curd, not dahi wala curd, where it becomes into CUD curd, this one. Okay. The cow takes this curd back to its mouth when the cow is resting. The cow brings the curd back to its mouth while they are resting. Okay. And choose the food again. Choose the food again. So you must have noticed that while a cow is resting, she or he will keep on chewing the food. So one might ask that, what is this cow chewing actually? There is no grass laying around. So it is the cud which is the cow is chewing, right? So this practice is called rumination. This practice is called to ruminate. Ruminate. The word comes from what? Ruminate. All right, guys. So the food here is, we say that it is chewed for the second time. Now again it is being swallowed into the third stomach, that is the omasum. Now you see, from mouth the food that is being chewed, now it is going to the third chamber. That is called what? Omasum. Omasum, which is the second or third chamber. Third chamber, right? Okay. Now the microbes or the bacteria which is present in the cow's stomach, they also help in breaking down the plant material. So in each of the chambers, there are certain good microbes which helps to further digest the food. Now from here, from ovation, the food now goes into the fourth chamber. What do we call that? Abomasum. So from here, now the food will go to the fourth chamber, that is called abomasum. What is the spelling? Yes, spell the spelling of all four chambers here, because you might forget the spelling. Yeah.
Rumen, RUMEN.
Okay.
RETICULUM.
Yeah. Omasum. OMASUM. And the last, that is the fourth chamber you have, abomasum.
ABOMASUM.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So abomasum, here what is happening? The food is getting mixed with digestive juices. Okay, so here food is mixed with digestive juices. Right, that is the last chamber of the food, that is abomasum. Here digestive juices mixes into the food and further absorption of food takes place. And all these chambers, bacteria are also present, that is microbes are also there to help in breaking the food. What is microbes? In short, microorganisms are called microbes.
Microbes.
Right, guys? Okay, then. So in the fourth chamber, the digestive juices which are being released. Okay. So it further breaks down. And finally, from all these four chambers, the food reaches the intestine where the process of digestion is completed. Okay. And like in the case of humans, how the intestinal walls absorbs the nutrition from the food. In the same case, in the intestine of the cow, the intestinal wall absorbs the nutrients from the food. Okay. And in the same way, food will pass on to where? It will pass on to rectum. Like from the human intestine, how the food passes into where? It passes to the rectum. Same is the case with the cow also. From there, it will pass on to where? To the rumen. So I'm writing here. So from abomasum, that is the fourth chamber. Okay. The food will pass on to intestine. Okay. Where absorption of nutrients takes place by the intestinal wall. Absorption by intestinal wall. And from here, once the water and all the nutrient has been absorbed, it passes on to rectum. Okay, and via the anus, it is released. Right. And here you can actually add one more, that you have got a small intestine, and you can write about large intestine also, because in cows also large intestine absorbs the moisture. So if we say from small intestine it reaches the large intestine, where absorption of what will happen here?
Water.
Water is absorbed, right guys? And from here it reaches rectum, right guys? Okay then.
Sir.
All right, any confusion so far?
No, sir.
Okay then, okay then, very good. So where does the waste food gets stored, waste material gets stored? It
Sir,
gets stored in the, no, it gets stored in the rectum.
rectum.
Rectum. Okay. So if you were to talk about ruminants, what we, if you were to summarize what we have discussed here, we say that the curd chewing animals are called ruminant. Curd is what here? Curd is the soft food in the reticulum. So whichever animal chews the curd, those are called ruminants. So we can summarize our discussion like this: the curd chewing animals are called ruminants. Okay, and you guys have to draw the diagram of these four chambers of a cow. Just a simple representation. Okay, it doesn't need to be the actual diagram of a cow, but just from your NCERT book you can take the help. Okay, just draw the diagram of these four chambers of the cow. Okay, you guys will be able to do that.
Sir.
Okay, now one interesting question here is that why do cows do this? Why cow are chewing their food for the second time?
For the proper digestion.
Proper digestion. Okay, that is one reason. Another reason?
Uh,
Yes. For more absorption of nutrients, right? Because if the food is getting multiple times digested, if it is being chewed for 2 times, and then there are bacteria also acting on it. Okay, and we know that grasses in the grasses cellulose is present, and cellulose is hard to digest. Okay, so they need to chew it for the second time for proper absorption of the food. Okay, and for proper breakdown of the food so that it gets more and more absorbed. Right, guys? Okay.
sir.
Okay, now camel is also a ruminant. Okay, like if I will talk about a camel, it is also a ruminant. But what is it different about camels apart from other ruminants? It is the difference lies in their teeth. So if you see the teeth of a camel, you will see they have got incisor teeth, they have got front teeth. Ever see the mouth of a camel from front? Have you guys rode on a camel?
Sir, one time.
One time, okay. You,
No,
Jadwa?
sir. No, sir.
No. Okay, so one special thing about camels is that camels, okay, they are also ruminants. Also ruminants, their specialty is that they have got incisors. They have incisors. Okay. There are lots of other interesting facts about camels. Can you guys tell me?
You can store water in the.
They can store water. Okay. They do not necessarily store the water. You see, it is the myth that on their hump, you see, the camel which looks like this, on their hump, it is said that they can store so much amount of water, but that is a myth. It is actually their body is made up in such a way that they can store large amount of the water in their tissues, in all of its body. So this hump, you know, this hump, it does, many people think that this hump stores water, but you guys know that it actually stores fat in it. Okay, so this hump that you see on its back, it is actually made up of fat, so that when camels take on long journeys in desert, they can get energy from this fat. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right then. Any question from today's class?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. So at last we have got uh, a bacteria, that is amoeba bacteria. So we have to study about nutrition in amoeba bacteria. All right. So any idea how does nutrition, how does amoeba bacteria takes in nutrition?
Sir,
Yes.
by moving the pseudopodia.
Yeah, see this one. I have taken a figure of, yes, see this diagram here. That is representing amoeba here. Okay. So see how in the first stage, a food particles comes nearby their false feeds. What are the false feeds here? Pseudopodia, you know that.
Pseudopodia.
Yeah. So as soon as a prey comes near to a amoeba, it develops false feeds and it starts enclosing that prey towards itself. So once the prey has uh, uh, reached close to it enough, then the feeds will join together, and this and the food vacuole present in their body entraps that food. See how the this insect or whatever the prey here it is getting entrapped into the food vacuole. You know what is a food vacuole?
Yes, sir.
Vacuoles are the empty spaces present in cells. It is present in our cells also, but in very tiny amount and very small size are there. So when the food that is a prey is entrapped into the vacuole of amoeba, that then it is called food vacuole. So then slowly the food diffuses out. See how it has broken down into smaller particles, right? And then this food, when it diffuses out, it is absorbed by the amoeba. The nutrition is absorbed from it. Amoeba grows further. All right. And undigested food is thrown out. See how undigested food is being thrown out directly. They don't have got any specialized organ for throwing out the undigested food. They can through its wall, through its cell membrane, it can simply throw it out. Right. So this is basically the stage of digestion and agitation in the case of amoeba. Okay. Any confusion regarding amoeba?
Sir. No, sir.
It is a unicellular microorganism. Okay. And it takes in food via pseudopodia. Okay. So food reaches the vacuole. Okay. So in the vacuole, the enzyme breaks down the food via use of certain enzymes. You know, enzymes, they are basically certain juices which helps in the breakdown of food. So in the vacuoles, the foods are broken down. The food is then absorbed. Food is absorbed. Then waste material is released. Waste food is ejected out, is released. Okay, then I hope we have covered almost everything from the chapter. Any confusion regarding the chapter so far?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, okay. Because I might put question from anywhere to you guys. Okay. Don't think I will not ask
Yes, sir.
questions. I might put questions from anywhere. So when you're confident enough that yes, everything is clear, I have no confusions left in the chapter, then say that yes, sir, everything is cleared. All right, guys. Okay. Okay. So in the alimentary canal, which is the longest part?
Small intestine.
Small intestine. All right. And how many glands secretes their juices in the alimentary canal? What are they? Question is to both of you. You both are supposed to answer.
It is largest gland liver. Liver
Liver.
secretes bile juice. It is stored in gallbladder.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And any idea about respiration? Like respiration in previous classes, or you must be having an idea about respiration. What is respiration? Although we haven't discussed this thing in this chapter, but I recall this thing. Respiration, what is it? Like it happens in our cells. The food, after absorption, the food which reaches our cell, their respiration happens.